So everybody knows that feeling of the school year coming to an end, there's like a week left, and just knowing that there's about to be that 2 to 3 month period where you don't have to do anything, nothing at all, at least related to school. You don't have to worry about no homework, no tests. It's just a good feeling, and it almost feels too good to be true. And if your schools are anything like the ones that I went to, that's because it is. And then you remember they're about to assign you some boring, lengthy, weird English having book that was written like 100 years ago that they want you to read over the summer. But then you remember SparkNotes and Schmoop exist, so you feel good again. Except then you remember they're also going to make you type a report, so then you don't. But if we're being honest, summer reading is something that probably most everyone wishes just didn't exist. And I don't think it's so much that people just dislike any type of reading ever. It's just the specific books they pick for you, combined with the fact that they make you write a report over the time period you're supposed to get a break, makes everybody hate it. Like, who actually is out there saying, man, unfortunately I have no schoolwork to do for 2 months. Oh wait, there's still summer reading, I can't wait to start typing that report. One year, one of my teachers handed out the instructions for the summer reading assignment, and she had the audacity to put at the bottom of the instructions something like, I hope you enjoy this experience, with a little smiley face next to it. I read that and said, what? Like, come on, you know nobody is going to enjoy this. Why are you even putting that on there? And I know one of the points of summer reading is to encourage reading, but some of these books they'll be making people read probably just ends up making them equate reading with being more of a chore. Except for that one kid who was always like, I already finished the book, and the current school year hasn't even ended yet. It's not even summer, which honestly is what everyone should try for. That would be the academically smart move, but that's no fun. And for me, it'd usually end up going the complete opposite way. It'd get to the start of the next year, and I'll forget what book we were even supposed to read. Definitely not the smart move. A couple of the very first years I ever got assigned summer reading, I tried to be responsible and plan out, like I have to read 1 chapter a week to finish this book on time, and then it'd be halfway through the summer, my progress is still 0%, but I'd still be like, no big deal, just gotta read 2 chapters a week and I'll still be good. Fast forward, school starts tomorrow and I still haven't even touched the book. And from then on, begun the tradition of consulting SparkNotes last minute to finesse a report that seems like you actually read the book, because that's kind of the point of those types of websites. But for real, the number of times SparkNotes and Schmoop has come into clutch for me, it's honestly too many to count. I mean, you basically get the exact same information and all the same concepts as actually reading the book, except you don't have to deal with reading 6 paragraphs of the author describing how the trees were blowing in the wind. I remember one year I was sitting in class on like the first or second day of school, and the English teacher asked who had finished the summer book yet, and they have some mercy on you. They'll make it do a couple weeks after school starts and not right on the first day. But anyways, she asked who had finished already, and not a single kid raised their hand. Not one. So her follow-up question was, well, who at least started? And I think like a grand total of 3 or 4 hands went up. And it gets worse, because she asked one of the kids who raised his hand what page he was on, and he said 2. Not chapter 2, page 2. And at that point, the teacher, she just gave up. She's like, we told you about this 3 months ago. If anyone turns this in even a minute late, you're getting a 0. So my very first year of high school, they assigned us this summer reading assignment, and they were like, you can't rent the book from the library. You have to buy it, because you have to annotate it. And I'm like, annotate? I had never heard of it before. I didn't know what that was. So they had an example paragraph on the website of something that they annotated. So I click on it, right? Because I'm trying to figure out how to annotate. So I open up this example document, and it's like, if you're reading a book and this happens, put a star. And if this happens, draw a spiral. If you think this, put 3 underlines. I think there was like an infinity sign somewhere in there. Some symbol that looked like if someone sneezed while trying to draw a circle. So I'm looking at this example and thinking like, what the hell type of hieroglyphics am I looking at here? There were so many symbols, I had to scroll down. They put the key on an entire separate page, along with some pretty vague explanations as to what all these symbols meant. And like I said, I had never heard of this before. So I just kind of ended up putting some random symbols in random places. The year starts, my teacher grades my assignment, and I somehow got like a 90-something% on it after randomly throwing out some infinity signs and check marks. So I'm not sure the teacher even really knew what was going on either. Or maybe he was just going easy on me, but they continued to push this annotating thing like the whole rest of the year. Not a super fun thing to do, and all I remember from it was literally every time the teacher would give us an article or something to annotate, I would see everybody come to class the day it was due, and everyone is throwing random symbols on their paper, like as the teacher is walking around to check the assignment. So that's the extent to how serious the class took it. And I have one last story involving summer reading, one that's pretty crazy and involves a level of savagery coming from a student toward a teacher that I never thought I would witness. So it was getting toward the end of the year, and our teacher was telling us what book we had to read and what report we had to type up for the summer. And this particular teacher was one of those teachers that nobody had any issues with. She was just really nice and understanding and didn't make things harder for us than they needed to be. Just nobody disliked her, right? And she was also really patient. Like, I never once heard her even raise her voice, much less yell at us. And this was the summer before my last year of high school, so everybody is just trying to have an easy last year, and nobody was too happy that it had to start off with summer reading. So she's like, yeah, your English teacher next year will expect you guys to have this read by the time school starts. And so she's walking around passing out these papers about it, and everybody is just complaining and whining about it. And I guess that pushed her over the edge, and she just couldn't handle all the complaining, and she just snapped. She starts yelling at us how she doesn't want to hear about it. This is one simple assignment. She's tired of us always complaining about everything. And as I'm sure you guys know, the atmosphere just instantly changes whenever a teacher gets pissed. Like, it went dead silent. Nobody was even moving. And she's just standing there yelling at us. And I kind of felt bad for her. Actually, I really felt bad for her because obviously nobody was happy about it from our perspective. But she's up here just trying to do her job, and her whole class starts whining about everything. But it went dead silent hella fast. And the effect was amplified even more because, like I said earlier, this teacher never got mad at us. So it was so quiet, dead silent in there. And then this one guy 2 seats down from me, I see him out of the corner of my eye start to move, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, why is he moving right now? And he sticks his arms out, makes the thumbs down sign, and starts booing. This man broke the silence in the classroom caused by the teacher yelling at us by just straight up booing her. And this completely took the teacher by surprise, because you would think yelling at the class would have an effect on them. But then this kid was just unfazed and comes back with the most savage thing you could possibly do in that situation. And I felt really bad for her, but she didn't even do anything. She just kind of glared at him for a second and then walked back to her desk. She must have just been so confused at the fact that he had the audacity to do that. Like, no chill whatsoever. How are you gonna boo a teacher after she just went full sicko mode on the entire class? And I think that's gotta be one of the most savage things I've ever seen happen in a classroom ever. Don't boo your teachers, guys. They do too much work for your benefit. So yeah, that's all for this video, guys. Leave a like if you didn't already leave a like. And if you guys could do me a favor and hit the notification bell. I don't post super often, so it's not like you're gonna get spammed with my notifications or anything like that. But I would appreciate if you guys did that, and I'll see you guys in the next one.